welcome to another video. It is me, Desiree, and I just got back from a trip. Me, my boyfriend, and our dog went over to Tempe, like the Tempe, Phoenix area of Arizona to see a concert. It was probably one of, if not the best concert I've ever seen and ever been to and ever experienced. It was so fun. I'll tell you all about it, but I wanted to show you the makeup that I brought, and I'm already back, but this is what I took with me, and I'm gonna show you the look that I did every single day when I was there and show you everything I took. So I took this makeup bag. It's from Betsey Johnson. It's one of my absolute faves. I don't remember if I bought this or if it was a gift, like a birthday or Christmas gift. Either way, it's definitely something I would have bought myself. I love it so much. It holds a ton of stuff, and I put all of my makeup and skincare in here, and I thought I would just show you everything I brought and put it on my face. I'll show you the skincare at the end in case you're interested, because there were some like hits and misses with the stuff I took, because I took a lot of things I had never tried before, little samples and stuff like that. First though, I need to put on sunscreen. I took the Neogen Daylight Protection Airy Sunscreen SPF 50, and I wanted to take this, well, for one, because it's SPF 50, and it was 114 degrees the first day we were there. And when we were at home, the same day, the high was 87, and the high over there was 114. So it was a pretty drastic temperature change. It was really, really hot. We sweated up a storm. Like, even just walking out to take out the dog was like immediately dripping sweat on my upper lip. My shirt was sticking to my back. It was hot. So I wanted SPF 50, and this one's really good. It wears great under makeup. It's nice and moisturizing, but it doesn't feel like you're putting on another layer of moisturizer. Like, I don't think this, for me anyway, wouldn't work as a moisturizer replacement, but it's really, really nice. So I'm just gonna blend this in, and I'm gonna do my neck as well. I did wear sunglasses and a hat every day because it was just, the sun is just different over there. Like, it's a different kind of sun than we have in New Mexico. It just was so hot. It felt like the sun was right there the whole time. Like, you could reach out and touch it. It just felt like it was right here on top of my head the whole time. I love this a lot. I didn't reapply this because we actually didn't spend a lot of time outside, believe it or not. It was just so hot. We spent a lot of time indoors, finding indoor activities to do, places to eat, just things to see, and then of course the concert and stuff. So didn't reapply it, but I did reapply body sunscreen multiple times a day. Also, I had my hat and sunglasses on, and I felt like I was sufficiently covered, but what are you gonna do? So I'm just gonna let this sink in for, I don't know, just a couple of minutes. It sinks in really quickly. Like, my face feels like I just put on skincare. It doesn't feel thick, heavy, tacky, sunscreeny. There's no white cast. Like, okay, there are a bunch of sunscreens I really love. I love the Laneige Hydro UV Defense sunscreen. Love that one. It's also SPF 50, and I also really like the Innisfree SPF 36, something like that. Love that one. But I think if there was only one that I could use forever, it's this. It's that perfect balance of moisture, but not too much, where the Laneige one is SPF 50 as well, but that's moisturizing. It's dewy, it's glowy, it's gonna eat up all your makeup on your face. Like, it's really lovely, but I think this one is probably the one that I would go with forever. So I did take a primer, of course, the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I cannot stop using this. I feel like I'm gonna use this all the way up. I love it so much. I feel like this truly does help with, why am I using that cadence? I feel like this truly does help with longevity, with how your makeup goes on. Like, even if this sunscreen was tacky or like super juicy, if I put this on top of it, it just creates this perfect layer between the sunscreen or your skincare and your makeup. So your makeup's going on top of the primer, not on top of your sunscreen. So it goes on a lot smoother. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. This is probably one of the best products I've ever used from e.l.f. And to me, e.l.f. is definitely a very hit and miss brand, but this is a home run hit right here. Just gonna smooth that all over. It's not very nice to watch someone smooth primer on their face because they're just like pulling their face like it's made of wax. And while that sinks in, I'm gonna get a little micellar water and wipe off anything that gathered on my eyebrows. And I did put on these nails. I think they look so cool. These long black nails. And they're one from Kiss. It's one of their Halloween releases. I did buy 2 packs. I got this really nice looking red one. I have an itch right here, but I feel like I had to show you so you wouldn't think I was back here picking my nose. Anyway, I got these really cool red ones, which I cannot wait to put on, but I thought these would be more fitting for the concert. This does say to let sink in for 30 seconds, but I'm pretty sure it's been 30 seconds. So, foundation. What I ended up taking was not what I thought I was going to take, because I am obsessed with the Ulta Beauty stick foundation, the moisturizing stick foundation. I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop using it. I don't want to stop using it. I wanted to take this with me, but I also thought I should take something with SPF, and of course the first thing I thought of was the IT Cosmetics CC cream with their SPF 50. This is the shade, well, I think it's all rubbed off. I want to say the shade is light, but the shade name is not imprinted on the packaging. It's just like a ink on it. So once that's rubbed off, you'll never know again what shade it was unless you remember. I want to say this is the shade light. And this is a product I have gone back and forth on because I always thought this turned really, really pink on my face. I don't know why, but I thought I would give it another try, and I did a really thin layer. So I'm going to kind of like smooth it on instead of just like getting a one big giant pump and like dabbing it on. This is kind of the application I was doing out there. I know obviously with this amount I'm not getting SPF 50 probably enough. I'm not getting SPF 50 on my face, okay? Which is fine because I put on the sunscreen, but just keep that in mind when you're using makeup that has sunscreen in it. You also gotta kind of use the amount that you would use as sunscreen. So you saw me put on the sunscreen. If I had to put on this much of this to get that sunscreen coverage, it'd be way too much. So it's nice to have it in there, but I would not use that as my sunscreen for my face. It's just definitely not enough coverage, and I'm not gonna use that much of the foundation. But this one really light layer, I loved the look of it. And even though I was sweating up a storm, I never felt like my makeup melted off of my face. But I want to say it's because that primer. The primer is so good. I think the primer, maybe the application, the powdering, the setting spray, I feel like all of it kind of worked really well together, but that primer I think is really like the glue that held it on. So something really nice, really light, covers up the redness, evens out my skin tone. That's kind of all I really wanted. And of course, concealers. I brought my 2 babies I can't stop using either. The Kulfi Main Match Concealer for the under eyes. And then the Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer, just for a little extra coverage where I feel like I wanted it, but I didn't want to add more foundation there. I thought I would just add another like light layer of concealer. This is running out finally. I've had this concealer forever. I've been using it literally every day for what seems like most of the year, and it's barely now feeling like I have to scrape around in there to get some out. Gonna give this a little blend. And I didn't end up taking a lot of the makeup I thought I was gonna take. I mean, a couple obviously that I just had to take with me, but there were some things that I thought I was gonna try out. Watch, I'll show you the setting spray I was gonna take, but the day before the trip, I did like a little trial run of the makeup, and I'm so glad I did that because I hated it. I hated the products I was taking. I did not like how they layered together. I absolutely hated the setting spray that I had tried out. So I'm glad I edited it and took a few different things because everything worked out really, really good, which I was really happy about. And I'm just gonna bounce the Beauty Blender, whatever's left on it, on the eyelids just to kind of even them out, cover up some of that redness as well. Where's my brushes? I'm gonna use all the brushes I took with me as well. I just have one of these little brush things from Real Techniques, and well, you're supposed to put the brushes in the holders, but I ended up just kind of putting them here and smashing them together. Anyway, The powder I ended up taking was from Rimmel, their pressed powder, their Stay Matte powder. I have the shade Transparent. I honestly forgot I had this. I truly thought I had decluttered it. I really did. So when I was looking for a powder to take, I thought, let's give that a try. And it is kind of risky sometimes to take makeup you've never tried before on a vacation, because you never know what the lighting situation is going to be like in your hotel. Most of the time you're probably going to end up standing in front of the window. But this all worked out just fine. And it was nice, light, not too powdery, set things in place. It did the job, you know? For bronzer, I did take two. I decided to bring the Kaja Beachy Stamp bronzer in the shade Shady. I wanted to take a cream bronzer, but I also knew, like, I was just thinking it's gonna be so hot, and I truly did feel like the makeup wasn't gonna last on my face very much, so I thought, let me take something really, really light. This is a liquid bronzer that's poured into a sponge, and I just have this brush here that I put it on with, and I just kind of did a really light layer around my face, and it worked out really nicely. I ended up really enjoying the tone. I loved the way that it looked. I guess I should tell you about the concert. So we went to go see this band, Electric Callboy. It was so fun. So they were supposed to, they had a tour planned last year, but they canceled it because one of the members had, like, he gotten really sick and he couldn't fly. So they rescheduled it though, which is great. So we got to see them this year at this club or this venue called the Van Buren. And it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful place. Like, I immediately was like, who else is coming here? I want to see another band in this venue. It was so nice and so pretty. Really small, so it was like not really small, but small enough where that no matter where you were standing, you were gonna get a good view. The opening bands were, I already forgot the first one, Conquer Divide, and then the other band was one we had never heard of called Solence. They were so good. Like, the vibe and the crowd, like, it was just so fun. They had like a whole theme of like doctors. It was so good. It was so good. I'll link below like one of their songs in the description box, and then everything sounds better live though. But it does sound good, but when we heard it in the car later, I was like, I missed the live version. I'm gonna put on some powder bronzer. I also took this with me, the Ulta Beauty Faux Glow Matte Bronzer in the shade Light to Medium, just to kind of set the liquid bronzer down a little bit. They were really good, and then the other opening band called Conquer Divide is a full female band. And I didn't know that, because I know of them, but I don't know their music that well, so I was looking into them to kind of get a feel for the music, to know what I was going to be, you know, hearing. And I was like, oh my god, it's a full female band. Every single musician, the singers, everyone's a female, like a girl. I was so excited about that because you don't see that very often. And when they came out on stage, I don't know what came over me, but I literally got teary-eyed. I had tears in my eyes when I saw them up there performing and just like doing it. And I literally had tears in my eyes, and I was watching them like, wow, oh my god, it was just like, dang. It was really, really good. So I'll link some of their music. Electric Callboy 2 is so freaking good. They're a band from Germany, and I feel like I did talk about them before. I feel like last year when we were supposed to go see them, I'm pretty sure I mentioned them at the time. Anyway, oh, I did take this powder too, the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. I took this, oh my god, there's a hair tickling me. Hold on. You know when you have makeup on you can't really scratch your face, you have to kind of like unsatisfyingly get the tickle away. Anyway, I took, oh no, it's still there. Just gonna have to deal with it. I took this powder with me because I have this blemish here that of course I picked at to death until it turned into a mountain. And it's gone now, but it's still red, so I would take a little bit of this to pat on there in case it was looking extra red, although I always forgot to do it. And I guess I did take another powder with me. I forgot I even had this in there. I didn't use it. The Hard Candy Chilling Wonder Loose Powder. Like I said, I thought I was just gonna be sweating up a storm, and I felt like I was gonna want to be like super powdered up, but I didn't end up using this at all. I just used the Rimmel one. Okay, what else? Okay, highlighter. I took Old Faithful here, the one I can't stop using. Wet n Wild Hello Halo blush lighter in the shade Highlight Bling. I am obsessed with this. I can't stop using it. I hit pan on it. I'm sure you can see it right there. Look at it. Beautiful. I can't stop. I can't stop. And I did try out other highlighters, like in my little trial run. And every one I put on, I was like, it's not Wet n Wild. It's not gonna do what I want. And before the concert, I did like kind of touch up my makeup a little bit and add a little bit more and add more powder, more setting spray. Like I was layering setting spray in between every layer, like just hoping it would stay on. Oh boy. No matter how I felt the makeup wore, like I felt every other day my makeup was like long lasting and it looked fine. At that concert, there was no freaking way anything was gonna last on my face. I have never been so sweaty at a show before, but there's something about being in a big crowd and you're all there to see the same band. You guys all know the words, you're dancing, you're having fun, you're jumping up and down, sweating up a storm. I've never been so sweaty. All of the makeup on my face was gone. My eyebrows were kind of enough to have a shape still. Mascara was still there. Everything else was disappeared off of my face. My hair was dripping wet. My shirt, you know, like wet clothes looks really big. My shirt was like super big all of a sudden, dripping wet with sweat. And it was awesome. It was so fun. I'm so glad we got to see them in concert because they're from Germany. So for them to make the trip out here to do a US tour was kind of a big deal. And amazingly, the entire tour sold out, which is hopefully a sign to them that we like them and want them to come back because it was amazing. I took this with me. This is the only blush I took. The It's a Vibe blush palette from Profusion, another one. Obsessed with that. And I didn't want to stop. And I tried out other blushes and I thought, no, it's not Profusion. I have to take my baby. My Profusion baby. What else did we do while we were there? So we were talking when we got back last night, like, what was your favorite part, least favorite part? And my least favorite part of any traveling, any road trip is the food. I hate going to fast food all the time, going to a restaurant constantly. Like we ended up going to the grocery store, which I think is a better idea. It's cheaper. You get to get fresh food, get some fruit, get a bag of salad, like get something else besides, like, I don't know, like after a while, like cooked food is just too much. Like I don't want to eat cooked food for every single meal, you know? Anyway, that's my least favorite part of traveling always is eating, is the food. And then when you're driving, you're in the car for so long, you're like, I guess I'll just eat this family-sized bag of chips without even realizing it. You're just kind of looking for something to do. And, you know, reading and taking magazines and stuff is usually my go-to, but lately it's been making me really sick. Not even lately. When I say lately, I mean for the last 20 years of road trips. I get sick, and I think a lot of people do, like when you're trying to read while you're like slowly moving like this in your car, it'll make you sick. And any sort of motion sickness medicine usually makes a person very drowsy. And even though they say less drowsy, it's still drowsy. And I have taken it in the past and it makes me drowsy enough to like ruin the rest of the day for me. So I'd rather just, I guess, eat a family-sized bag of chips. Okay, I did take the Rimmel Kind and Free Brow Pencil. I did end up buying another one because I ran out of it when we were there. So let me throw that in the empties actually. So I did take this. And I did take this whole palette just so I could take brow powder, the IT Cosmetics brow power powder right here. And I did think, like, I guess I could have taken all of this instead of all these other products. I could have had blush there, concealer here, powder and bronzer, highlighter, eyeshadows. But to be honest, I don't love most of the stuff that's in this palette. I've tried the blush, it's way too pigmented. The highlighter, I really don't like the tone. The eye primer stuff is awful. The eyeshadows are fine, but I don't want to wear them. The bronzer, I don't like it all. It's way too pigmented and way too glittery. The translucent powder is very white on my skin. And I do like the concealer though. This is the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. I actually have that in a full size. So that and the brow powder are the only two things I love in this palette. So that's why I didn't use anything in the palette. But it came in handy as a nice little mirror. What else did we do? We went to the mall. They had this mall out there called the Mills, I think. And it had, oh, I know what we did. Okay, we went to the mall and we were getting really hungry, and I was like, have you ever been to the Rainforest Cafe? I had never been either. It's definitely the most gimmicky restaurant I've ever seen in my life. But it was kind of fun, so we're like, let's go, let's see what it's like. And it was one of the biggest, that was my biggest regret of the whole trip, was going to that restaurant. Okay. For one, it's made to look like a rainforest. So it is freaking loud. It's so loud. They have this fountain going that is so freaking loud. They have animatronic elephants just trumpeting all day. And I kept thinking, like, does the waitress hate the people that she sat in front of those elephants? Because the elephants were going off constantly and the people kept looking at them like, again? And I thought, does she hate them? And then the people she sat right in front of that fountain, I'm like, I know water was squirting up on top of their food. Anyway, does she hate them? I don't know. The restaurant was so gimmicky. Maybe if you have kids, like really small kids, they might find it really fun, but I would never go back. I wouldn't recommend it. The food was way too expensive for how mediocre it was. Like, I got a Beyond Burger, which I could get that anywhere, and I always find that when restaurants say they'll just sub in the burger, for one, they charge $3 extra to sub in that burger, and it wasn't even that good. It was just like, I don't know, way too expensive. And then my boyfriend's foodie said it was so salty he couldn't even eat it. And then every time the waitress came by, she was like, how's everything tasting? He was like, it's great. My mouth hurts, but it's great. I don't know about you, but I find it really hard to complain about food at a restaurant. I did it one time. I've only complained about food twice at a restaurant. And one of them was with my grandma. Recently, we were at Chili's. And I got some fries and they were so salty that I couldn't eat them. Like, I'm not even joking. I love salt. I love salty foods. I love salty snacks. It's my favorite thing. But those fries, they were like white with salt. I couldn't eat them. I had to dust off every single one. And when the waitress came by, I just mentioned how salty they were. But I didn't say, like, I want more fries. But she ended up bringing a huge thing of fries. And then I felt bad because I only ate like maybe 10 of them. And I was like, I didn't want more fries. So I never complain about the food anymore because they'll just bring it again. And then I feel bad, like I have to eat another whole meal. You know what I mean? I got off track here, but I'm going to use the NYX tinted brow glue. And I'm going to tell you about another time I complained about the food and they brought it out 3 times. And I had to eat each one. And then I felt so bad because the chef came out and was like, I'm so sorry that this kept happening. I'm bringing you another one. I said, I can't eat another one. And he said, I just had to bring it, you know, to fulfill like my own, like, oh, I made the meal right. It was Chili's again. And I ordered the fajitas, but you can, it's like a vegetarian fajita, so you can sub in a black bean patty. So what they do, instead of giving you fajita meat, they just cut up a black bean patty and lay it on top of the fajitas. And the rest of the stuff is really good. I could even just do without the patty, but it tastes good. It's a good thing. I like the way it tastes. They give you a ton of asparagus too, which is really yummy. But I asked for no cheese. It was coated with cheese. And most of the time, oh, I need a Q-tip. Oh, here's one. Most of the time when I ask for no something on a food and they bring it with that anyway, I just do my best to scrape it off and eat it anyway. Because I know they're gonna throw it away. And I remember one time I had asked for the burger with no mayo. They brought it with mayo, and when I picked up the bun, there was mayo all over the bun. I was like, oh crap, like it sunk into the bun. I didn't want to eat it. So I was like, I'm paying for it. So I did ask, I said, hey, I actually asked for no mayo. They took it back, brought it back, and when I checked it again, all they did was scrape the mayo off of the bun. And they gave me the same bun with the mayo all over it. And I was like, what if I had, like, well, I guess if I had a food allergy, I would not be eating at a restaurant that could possibly have contamination. But I was thinking, like, what if, like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. What am I talking about? Eyeshadow. Let's talk about eyeshadow. I only took one eyeshadow, and I was going to take a bunch of stuff. I had a bunch of singles. I had a loose pigment single, and that first day that I did the trial run, I ended up editing everything down. I only took one thing. And it's something I hadn't used in years. And it's from Almay, and it's their Shadow Trio in the shade Hearts on Fire. And I wanted to take this because I just thought that color was really pretty. I only ended up using this one here. And I'm going to put that on now, show you how I did it. Easy peasy. So anyway, the fajitas came out with the cheese on them. And I was like, oh, like it was too much. It was melted all over it. Like I couldn't just pick it off and eat it, you know? So I did say, I'm so sorry, like as if it was my fault. I'm so sorry. I asked for no cheese. There's cheese all over it. They brought it out again, but then this time they put meat on it instead of the black bean patty. So it was like regular fajitas. And I was like, oh my God, like this is worse. Like I'm so sorry, but I'm not gonna eat it with the meat on it. I asked for no meat and no cheese. They brought it out again, and this time they brought it out correctly, but I think they had, I remember they did something else to it where I had to like pick something off again, and then they brought it out again. I remember this because they brought it out 3 times to me that I was trying to eat little pieces of each one, except the meat one I didn't eat. But they brought it out again, and that's when I was like, this is like a freaking like circus. Like this is so embarrassing. They didn't charge for it, but I felt so bad for some reason, because why? So I took the food home, but I don't remember the last time I ever ate food from a restaurant at home as leftovers. It does not taste good. It's not the same experience. And I only usually take the food home because I feel bad leaving it on the plate, but I'll never eat it. I'll just leave it on the fridge till it's bad and I'll throw it away. So, I don't know. Why did I start talking about that? The food, sending back the food. Oh, because the food at the Rainforest Cafe was not very good at all. The restaurant, so gimmicky. I don't know. I wouldn't go back again. I would never recommend it. I would never spend my money there again. It was really, really, really loud. And it was like, they were playing what I'm guessing was like drums, and then also like a gorilla making hooting sounds or something. And they were playing current music at the same time. So it was just a mess up in the speakers. And then every little while a thunderstorm would happen, and lights and lightning and sounds. It was like, what is going on in this restaurant? And then it's so humid in there because they have all this mist going on. And it was extremely humid, and it smelled like a rainforest, which is fine. But the humidity made the tables all sticky. It was just a bad experience. I totally regretted recommending that place. But after we left there, we went to like the barcade, where it's just like a bunch of games and a bar. That was really fun. So we ended up having fun at the mall, but the Rainforest Cafe was no bueno. And that's it. I did one eyeshadow. I'm going to put a little in the lower lashes though, because this is what I did for the concert, because I thought, oh, it's totally going to last the whole day. But I'm not even joking when I tell you, I have never sweat so much in my life for any occasion, like running a marathon, nothing. Never sweat so much in my life. It was totally fun though. I would do it again. And then the next day, because we were screaming so loud, singing all the words, yelling, you know, hooting and hollering. And the next day, we both sounded like Miley Cyrus. When we woke up, I was like, oh my God, we sound like Miley Cyrus, y'all. And of course, the next day after that, my entire body hurt. My calves hurt so bad. My neck hurt from like just tensing it, I guess. I don't know what I was doing out there. My neck hurt. My whole body hurt. And then we were on the 3rd floor of the hotel, and the elevator was out of service the whole time. It worked the first day, and that's it. The rest of the time, we had to go up and down the stairs the whole time, and I was like, my calves already hurt so bad. Anyway, no regrets. All right, setting spray. I have the Morphe Continuous Mist setting spray. I had actually bought this, the Morphe SPF 30 setting spray, because I thought it was going to be a continuous mist setting spray, and it is not. It's like this, and I absolutely hated it. I was gonna take the lid off, but it was hard. Is that even the right lid? I'm just mad at it, I guess. Oh, I just taking the lid off, I could smell the smell. It like dripped out a little bit. It's such a strong scent of sunscreen and sweet, like sugary sweet tart candy. And it annoyed me all day long. It made my makeup look terrible. I do want to return this, but I used points to buy it. Would they refund the points if I return this? Let me know, because I don't want it. I'm never going to use it again. So we're going to use the Continuous Mist setting spray from Morphe. Check this out. I don't know if it was meant to be a baseball or it's like a, I don't know, some sort of cherry blossoms or something. Either way, you know what? It came in handy a lot because at the arcade I got a Bloody Mary and it was so spicy that it was making my scalp sweat. So I was sitting there with my fan, sweating to death, drinking my drink. Glad I got the fan though. It cost me 80 tickets. And I was trying to decipher, like, what does one ticket equal? Because some of the stuff there is outrageously priced for tickets. Like this fan, I'm sure this cost them like 5 cents because I know they bought a huge bulk box of fans. But then one Airhead costs like 118 tickets. One Airhead candy, like one. I don't know what they're thinking. Inflation has infected everything, you know? I took 2 mascaras. The Lash Sensational Sky High from Maybelline, this is the primer, and then the Sky High mascara, the regular one. I did go repurchase it because I knew I was going to want a mascara that I did not want to melt off my face. And believe it or not, after the concert, the mascara was one of the only things that was still on my face. Everything else was gone, completely gone. Okay, gonna let that dry for just a sec. Anyway, and then after the concert, it was storming, which was great because the temperature went down to like 94 degrees. It was pouring rain, so windy. There were trees breaking left and right. Like it looked crazy. It looked like it was from out of a movie. And then the next day we went out to drive around and find something to do. And we were having more fun driving around, seeing all the trees that broke. There were trees, like I couldn't believe how many trees were broken out there. But maybe it's because they don't get weather like that often, or maybe the trees are just really dry and brittle. I don't know, but it looked crazy outside. But it was nice because then the next day, the high was only 90 degrees. It was so nice to have a cool down, and it was really cloudy. So that was a nice day to not have to just sweat to death all day. Oh, and then when we were there, the blue moon happened, and it was funny because the whole trip, I should have said this at the beginning, the whole trip I kept insisting that our hotel was haunted because I didn't see one person for 2 days at the hotel besides my boyfriend. I didn't see a front desk person, I didn't see a housekeeper, I didn't see another resident. I literally saw nobody for 2 days, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And then there was a day where there was knocking at the door. Like we all heard it. My boyfriend even woke up. The dog started barking. There was knocking at the door. Got up to look. There was nobody there. There was nobody even down the hallway. Like there was nobody there. Then my boyfriend went out to take the dog out, and I was watching him through the window because he went across the street. A bus drove by, and this was not a haunted thing, but I was like, it just added to the ambiance, you know? A bus drove by that didn't say out of service or nothing like that, with all the lights on and nobody in it, and no driver or anything. And I was like, I know I just didn't see the driver when I looked at the bus, but there was no one in the bus, but all the lights were on, and I was like, I knew it! And I was writing all these notes down in my phone of all these weird things that were happening. And then the next day, I went and took the dog out, and there was a swarm of bees. And of course, we all know where the bees come from. It's Candyman. So there was a swarm of bees inside of like this water, I don't know what it's called. It's like a water main maybe. You know those little like plastic green lids that are in the ground, like if you have a lawn? It was there, and inside the little hole where you put your finger to pick up the lid, I'm guessing there was a hive of bees in there because there was 500 bees or more just swarming everywhere, going in and out of that little hole. And I was like, Candyman is in there, George, we gotta get out of here. George is my dog. And then of course the next day the blue moon is out, and then I was joking the whole time that the sun never actually went down, it just turned into the moon, and that the moon was actually the sun just dressed up because it was still so hot at night. I was like, how is it still so hot if the sun's down? But because I was like, that's because the moon is actually the sun here in Tempe, they're just playing joke on us. But then it happened to be that it was the blue moon, so it did look like the sun wearing a moon costume. It just added to the whole haunted theme of the trip. I was loving it so much. So every little thing that I could like reach for, I was like, see, I told you this place was haunted. Let me see if I had anything else written in my notes, because I was writing them all down. Haven't seen any other hotel guests. Oh, the only guest I saw was in the elevator that one day that it worked. When I walked out, the elevator door opened and there was a guy standing there with a blank stare on his face, holding one suitcase, and it like making no eye contact, but just literally a blank dead stare. Like that. And I walk out and I was like, I turned around to see if it was a real guy, and he just walked in there with the blank stare and then just waited for the door to close. And I was like, what the heck was that? Okay, so I saw that. Also, I saw the haunted the bus last night. There was knocking at the door. Oh, I wrote this down. I put also there was blood coming out of the drain. There wasn't blood coming out of the drain, but I wanted to add to the story. And then I put, oh, the water squirted out of the faucet really crazy when I turned it on. The bees, and then it leads me to believe Candyman is around. Anyway, while I was thinking about all that, the other kids read the book. Oh, I forgot to show you the skincare that I took. I knew this video was not long-winded enough. Okay, I took the Lactosica Soothing Toner from Unpa. I only used this once and it really burned my skin, so I didn't use it again. I took the Benton Deep Green Tea Toner. Absolutely loved this. I looked forward to using this every day. I also took the green tea serum, which I also really, really loved. I did end up using it up while I was there. Another product I absolutely loved from CosRx, the Advanced Snail 96 Mucin Power Essence. I had never tried this before and this blew my mind. It was so lovely and soothing. I also took the CosRx Advanced Snail All-in-One Cream. I had never tried this before either and it blew my mind. This was something I wasn't expecting to love. I thought it was going to be like a waxy moisturizer, because that seems to be all I'm finding right now. But it's not. It's like a nice gel texture, like a gel cream. So lovely on the skin. I put it on again this morning. I really loved it a lot. Took one of my favorite eye creams. This is the Belief Moisturizing Eye Balm. Just a really great, nice, hydrating, like super duper moisturizing under eye cream. I took from Acure the Radically Rejuvenating Dual Phase Buccochial Serum. I just took it for fun. It's like a little oil in a serum. Felt really good on the skin. I also took the Laneige Blue Hyaluronic Water Bank Moisturizer as a night cream. This is one of my favorite moisturizers of all time. Love it. I took the Tony Moly Retinol Eye Cream. I only ended up using this one time. And I did take one other thing here. I took the Pixi After Sun sheet mask because I thought my skin was going to get like decimated by the sun, but it didn't. Didn't end up using this. Didn't end up using the Innisfree mask either. But I did end up using a sheet mask. I used one from Patchology that I did take and use. I took two Pyeongkang Yul eye creams. Didn't end up using them. And then I took the Drunk Elephant Silly Body Lotion packet. Didn't end up using that either. So that's it. That was my trip. This is the makeup I took. There aren't any products in here that I didn't use. I used every makeup product that I took, except some of the powders. Like I think I took 2 extra powders I didn't end up using. But that is it. That was my trip, what we did, the makeup I took, and all of that, and my haunted experience. Anyway, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're still here, dang, thank you. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe so you don't miss my next one, and I will see you later in another video. Goodbye.